On the morning of the National Merit Finals, I walked into the testing center clutching the lucky puppy plushie my girlfriend had hand-sewed for me. She swore it was a good luck charm that would guarantee I'd ace the predicted questions. To my shock, she was right. Every major essay prompt I had prepared for was on the exam. I handed in my test with adrenaline pumping through my veins, eager for results day. But when that day came, the school administration notified me that my scores had been invalidated. Despite my girlfriend's tearful defense, the principal ruled that I, the class valedictorian, had plagiarized Julian Pierce, the slacker at the bottom of the class ranking. I was doxxed online, blacklisted by every Ivy League university, and my reputation was incinerated. Broken, I took my own life. I woke up with a gasp back in my bedroom. It was the night before the finals. My phone screen lit up with a notification from Chloe. I finished the puppy doll. Take it with you tomorrow. It's going to be your lucky charm, I promise. I was about to type a reply when a stream of translucent text floated across my vision like a live stream chat overlay. The protagonist is so pathetic. He got a rebirth and still doesn't know she put a pinhole camera inside that doll. Chloe just hooked up with Julian. No way she's letting the main character go to the same college as her side piece. I froze, staring at the floating text. A camera and a doll? Chloe cheating on me with Julian? Before I could process the shock, more stinging comments drifted by. He's going to live stream his answers to Julian again. He'll get flagged for cheating and won't even know why. All that studying for nothing. That's wild. Who would guess the perfect girlfriend is running a spy operation? Oh well, it's his own fault for being such a simp. Lucky the metal detectors didn't pick it up last time. By the time the reality of the comments sank in, I was covered in a cold sweat, trembling. Chloe and I had known each other since kindergarten. We were childhood sweethearts. Everyone thought we'd get married. Even in my past life, when I was accused of academic dishonesty, I suspected everyone but her. My phone buzzed again. Chloe, Caleb? You asleep? On the screen, the photo of the clumsy-looking plush puppy seemed to mock me. She's a master of time management, hooking up with the villain and still checking if the boyfriend is asleep. I clenched my fist until my knuckles turned white and typed back. Just got out of the shower. Heading to bed now. Chloe replied instantly. Great. I'll bring the doll to you tomorrow morning. It's going to protect you. Her insistence on the doll suddenly felt sinister. In my past life, she had been just as adamant. We're the doll, Caleb. It's lucky. The result? My scores were voided. The top student accused of copying the worst student. Why did anyone think Julian copied me? I remembered rushing to the principal's office to defend myself, only to be berated by Julian himself. He had sneered, explaining to the principal, I turned my test in 30 minutes early. Caleb submitted his at the buzzer. How could I copy him? Plus, check the security footage. He was looking in my direction the whole time. Not just English, but every subject Julian had submitted early. My defense was dismissed as the desperate lies of a cheater. I hadn't understood what happened then. But now, guided by the floating comments, I logged into a dark web marketplace and traced Chloe's transaction history. She had purchased 2 micro pinhole cameras and a pair of smart glasses with a hidden video receiver. That explained why Julian, who always wore contacts, had suddenly sported thick black-rimmed glasses that day. By the time I formulated my plan, the sun was rising. Outside the testing center, Chloe found me immediately, shoving the doll into my hands. Fighting back the urge to vomit, I pinned the doll to my chest. Chloe's smile turned sickeningly sweet. Caleb, I made a wish with every stitch. This will help you get into Harvard. Don't be nervous. I suppressed my rage and smiled. You're the best, Chloe. With you on my side, I can't lose. She kissed my cheek gently. The puppy will be with you for the test. Don't be scared. I waved goodbye and turned toward the exam hall, my expression instantly turning to ice. Around the corner, I squeezed the doll. It was stuffed with cotton, hiding the hard lump of the camera lens. Is the protagonist stupid? He's wearing it again. His goddess gave it to him. Of course he's wearing it. He got killed once and still hasn't learned. Total simp behavior. I let out a cold laugh and opened my locker. Just wait, Chloe. And you too, Julian. I'm going to give you the most perfect live stream you've ever seen. Entering the hall, I spotted Julian scanning the crowd. When he saw the doll on my chest, his shoulders visibly relaxed. I tilted my chin at him and patted the puppy's head. The smirk on Julian's face was almost impossible to contain. During the exam, just like before, Julian wore those heavy black frames. He kept using his ruler to reflect sunlight into my eyes, baiting me to look at him. I cooperated, turning my head twice. But I only did it to confirm he hadn't noticed that the answer sheet he was watching through his glasses was actually a pre-recorded video playing on my spare phone, which I propped up inside my locker, directly in front of the doll's twin I had rigged up, watching Julian furiously scribble down answers based on the rhythm of that video. If we weren't in a silent exam hall, I would have laughed out loud. Chloe hadn't even bothered to make the doll herself. Her 3 hours of hand sewing was a $5 piece of junk from a discount bin. Holy crap, the video lag is real. Can Julian really not tell? I've used those glasses. The resolution is trash. He probably can't tell the difference. Julian slammed his pen down after the last question and stood up to turn his test in early. Before leaving, he shot me a provocative look. I had finished the actual exam ages ago, answering exactly the same as my previous life. But one thing still nagged at me. In the last life, Julian had copied my essay word for word. Based on my observation, he wrote the essay first, then filled in the multiple choice bubbles based on the video feed. That meant someone had given him my prepared essay beforehand. My fingernails dug into my palms, the sharp pain grounding me. It was Chloe. She had given my practice essays to Julian. The bell rang. I walked out of the exam hall, retrieving the camera-rigged doll from my locker and pinning it back on. I glanced up at the chat logs floating in the air. Why didn't he turn in early if he was done? Make Julian look bad. I'm stressed watching this. The protagonist is acting like an NPC. He knows it's a trap and still walks into it. The comment stung, reminding me of the cyberbullying that had driven me to suicide. But this time, I was going to turn those knives toward Chloe. The rest of the exams went smoothly. I used the same locker video trick for every subject. Julian never suspected a thing. When the final session ended, I walked out to find Chloe chatting with Julian near the gates. Seeing me, she jogged over with a bright smile. Caleb, how was it? Did the predictions come true? I hooked an arm around her waist. Almost all of them. That doll really works magic. She cooed congratulations while deftly unpinning the doll from my shirt. I'm going to sew a little outfit for it as a reward for helping my boyfriend succeed. She stuffed the doll in her purse and visibly relaxed. The chat overlay went wild. She took the evidence. Is he dumb? Keep the doll. Is this guy smart or stupid? I don't understand his play here. Julian sauntered over, barely suppressing a grin. Caleb, you lucky bastard. Getting a handmade doll from Chloe. He sighed theatrically. My girlfriend only promised to buy me a pair of limited edition Nikes. No sentimental value at all. You guys are childhood sweethearts. I'm so jealous. Julian's eyes drifted to Chloe, and the gaze they shared was so intense it was practically sticky. How had I missed that in my last life? Previously, after the cheating scandal, Julian went from bottom of the class to valedictorian. He gave interviews on local news, with Chloe always conveniently standing nearby. On camera, looking polished in his uniform, he'd say, Caleb, I know you're watching. A lie will always be exposed. You can't fake your way through life. Face your mistakes. The internet backlash crushed me. Strangers spray-painted filth on my parents' house. Chloe, initially pretending to defend me, was branded the tragic loyal girlfriend. Poor Chloe, duped by that loser. She still defends him? She's too good. Is it just me? Or do Chloe and Julian look good together? Then, people discovered Julian and Chloe studying together at the library, calling it a true intellectual romance. My parents lost their jobs. I lost my life. Since fate hit rewind, I wasn't going to let them off the hook. Hey, Caleb, Julian said. The guys are grabbing dinner and hitting them all. Bring Chloe along. They exchanged a look of shared anticipation. Don't go. It's another trap. He can't go. Last time, Julian humiliated him in public. It was brutal. I pushed past Julian and took Chloe's hand. We'd love to. Thanks for helping me study, Chloe. I give up on this guy. Total doormat. He's definitely going just to fight Julian for the girl. Simp behavior. I ignored the floating text, smiling as I walked beside Chloe. Of course I was going. I had a starring role in the show they were planning. In the previous life, after dinner, Julian suggested we check out the Nike flagship store. Once there, he pointed out my shoes were knockoffs and, along with the clerk, humiliated me in front of the whole class. This time, the chat spoiled the script before Julian could open his mouth. Here we go. The clerk is Julian's older brother. They look exactly alike. How does the protagonist not see it? Not just looks. The brother has been eyeing Chloe too. Runs in the family. Inside the store, classmates whispered about the prices. Marcus, Julian's lackey, shouted, Damn, Julian, these limited editions are like 15 grand on the resale market. You got bank. Julian scoffed, looking at Chloe with pride. My girlfriend gave them to me as a graduation gift. Told me to pick whatever I wanted. Marcus gave a thumbs up. She must really love you. Dropping 15 large like it's nothing. Julian turned to me, feigning surprise. Oh, Caleb, are you wearing the limited editions too? He walked over, then called out to clerk. Hey, excuse me? Can you check which model my classmate is wearing? I want a matching pair. The clerk, Rick Pierce, sauntered over. I coughed, looking shy, and pulled Chloe closer. Chloe gave them to me. Both Julian and Chloe froze. I wasn't lying. Chloe had swapped my real shoes for fakes to sell the originals. Technically, she gave me the fakes. Before Chloe could speak, I cut in. Chloe, I had no idea they were this expensive. I only wear them for special occasions. Rick looked at Julian, waiting for a cue. Is it that one? A classmate pointed to a display case. Wait, someone whispered. Caleb's texture looks off. Are those fake? Did his girlfriend buy him knockoffs to pretend she's rich? As the murmurs grew, Chloe's face turned pale. I stepped in front of her. Chloe isn't like that. She's kind. She must have been scammed by a reseller. I turned to Julian, looking sincere. Good thing Julian is here. He'd never buy fakes. Julian looked like he'd swallowed a lemon. He glared at Chloe, then barked at Rick to help him pick another pair. El Mayo, the protagonist knows. The villain looks like he wants to strangle the girl. Chloe kept her head down, typing furiously on her phone, probably explaining to Julian that she needed the money from selling my real shoes to buy his. I hummed a tune and browsed the wall. I pointed to a pair of low tops. Hey, I want to try these on for size. Rick sneered. Display only. Can't try them. Isn't a display for trying on? No means no. Rick waved me off. Julian stepped in, playing a nice guy. Caleb, don't give a guy a hard time. They get a lot of window shoppers who can't afford anything. I laughed coldly and pointed to another pair. What about those? I'll buy them. Can I try them? Rick rolled his eyes and grabbed the pair Julian had pointed at earlier, placing them at Julian's feet. The ones on the shelf aren't for sale either. I smiled. But you're selling to him? He can afford it. Rick spat. You're a broke student. You got 15 grand. Caleb, don't be mad, Julian said, his eyes full of mockery. He's just doing his job. These are luxury items. Yeah, the classmates echoed. That's a year's salary for normal people. I looked at Chloe. She bit her lip. Caleb, let go. Just look on Amazon later. You can get free returns there. Her comment drew snickers from the staff. The memory of the cyberbullying surged back. I clenched my fists. Fine, delete my account then. I'm done with Nike. Rick snorted, extending a hand. ID. Phone number. Caleb actually has an account? A classmate whispered. Julian laughed. Anyone can register on a website. Doesn't mean anything. True. Just go online and unsubscribe. Why make a scene? 10 minutes later, Rick returned, holding the low tops I had asked for earlier. He walked up to me, a bead of sweat rolling down his temple, forcing a smile. Mr. Thorne, this is the model you wanted, right? Please try them on. Julian looked at his brother in disbelief. I didn't even glance at the shoes. No thanks. Delete the account. Rick looked ready to cry. He offered the shoes again. I refused. Sir, deleting the account takes time. Maybe today you could. I have time. Delete it. Rick retreated to the back office. The classmates looked confused. So satisfying. Look at him go. Chloe is so dumb. Caleb always wears limited drops. How did she not realize? Another 10 minutes passed. Rick came back, sweating profusely, and asked us to come upstairs to the VIP lounge. Inside the office, a manager in a sharp suit served me tea. Mr. Thorne, I've heard about the incident. I'm deeply sorry for the disrespect shown to a Tier 0 client. I nodded, taking a sip. It's fine. Is the account deleted? Thud. Rick Pierce dropped to his knees at my feet. Mr. Thorne, I'm sorry. I didn't know who you were. Please, don't cancel your membership. Corporate will kill me. Julian stared, mouth agape. Rick, what are you doing? Rick shot him a look of pure hatred. Shut up. The manager began apologizing too. It was a chaotic scene. Outside the glass walls, classmates were Googling furiously. They call them a Tier 0 client? Isn't it usually VIP? I found it. Tier 0 implies an icon account. Millions in annual spend. There's barely a dozen in the state. Silence fell over the group. Everyone looked at me differently. Chloe couldn't meet Julian's eyes. Julian stood there, clutching his shopping bag, looking humiliated. I laughed softly and pointed at the bag in Julian's hand. Forget it. Do you have that pair in stock? I'll take them. The manager beamed. He snapped his fingers, and Rick scrambled up, marched over to Julian, and ripped the bag out of his brother's hands. Only one pair left. They go to Mr. Thorne. Julian tried to grab it back. Hey, they played tug-of-war until the bag ripped, sending the shoes tumbling across the floor, scuffing the leather. I waved my hand. Since Julian likes them so much, I don't want them anymore. Actually, I want to buy 2 pairs for my girlfriend. Something exclusive. Recommendations? Rick immediately kicked the scuffed shoes back toward Julian and guided me to the display wall with a servile grin. Chloe stood between us, trembling. Julian stared at the ruined shoes on the floor, then looked at Chloe with red-rimmed eyes, as if her leaving him would be the ultimate betrayal. The manager opened the private showroom door. I turned back and smiled. Chloe? Coming. Chloe hesitated for a split second before walking toward me, without looking back. A few days later, Julian posted a photo from a yacht party. On his wrist was a gold watch worth 5 times the price of those shoes. Chloe must have drained her savings to buy back her boy toys affection. She really loves the villain. Spending all that cash. Why doesn't she just break up with the protagonist? You don't get it. The one who isn't loved is the third wheel. The protagonist is the other man here. I swiped the air, dismissing the floating comments. Caleb, I'm outside your house. Can you come out? I smirked and grabbed my jacket. Just like the last life, Chloe wouldn't come in. She wanted me outside the gate. As I stepped out, a man in a hoodie slammed into me. Watch it, he grunted. I'm fine, I said, brushing myself off and walking toward Chloe. What's this? I asked, looking at the box in her hands. Graduation gift, she smiled. Open it later. It's the Get Dad Fired starter pack. Haha, last time he brought it inside, and the FBI raided them 5 minutes later. He's taking it? What a dutiful son. I laughed internally. This was the big finale. In the previous life, I took the box to my room. Before I could open it, the police knocked. Someone had tipped them off about corruption. My father, a government official, let them search, confident he was clean. They found thousands in cash and invitations to illicit underground clubs in that box. It's not mine. I had screamed. Check the cameras. The footage showed me walking out, bumping into a stranger, and returning with the box. Chloe was conveniently out of the frame. When I asked her to testify, she claimed she was with Julian fixing a computer. The box only had my fingerprints. I died before I knew the truth, but I learned later. Chloe set it up. She became the whistleblower hero, collected the reward money, and took Julian on a world tour. I held the box, looking touched. Then, I grabbed Chloe's wrist and yanked her under the overhang where my new security cameras were pointed. Ouch! She pulled away. Caleb, I hurt my arm at the gym today. I nodded. Sorry, babe. I can't take this guy anymore. Does he believe that? She gave me a pitiful look. I just wanted to see you. My arm really hurts. I should go. But, I pointed behind her. The road seems blocked. 2 police cruisers had pulled up sideways, blocking the exit. Sorry, Chloe. I called them first. The chat exploded. Wait, the protagonist called the cops. He's been playing 4D chess this whole time. Chloe turned pale. Caleb, what's going on? I don't know, I lied. An officer approached. We received a tip about a suspect carrying illicit contraband in this area. We need to search you. Chloe clutched her handbag tightly. Guilt was written all over her face. When an officer approached me, I handed him the box, while Chloe was still standing right there. Officer, my girlfriend just handed me this gift. I haven't opened it yet. The officer eyed us both and ripped open the packaging. Wait, Chloe squeaked. That's private couple stuff. Chloe, I scolded gently. Don't obstruct justice. I don't mind. She watched in horror as the officer opened the lid, revealing stacks of cash and the explicit membership cards. I gasped, my voice rising an octave. Chloe, how did you give me this? What is this? It's not mine, she shrieked. I didn't give you that. I grabbed her purse. She was too weak to stop me. Officer, check this bag too. Chloe looked like she was going to faint. Inside the bag, the receipt for the pinhole cameras and the leftover cash from the bribe. Chloe, my family has treated you like a daughter. You know my father's position. I shouted, tears welling in my eyes. Officer, I have high-definition surveillance on my driveway. You can see everything. I pulled out my phone and showed the feed. It clearly showed Chloe handing me the box. Captain, the officer called out. We found a micro camera in her bag too. And receipts. Chloe was babbling incoherently. As I handcuffed her, she begged me not to press charges, claiming it would ruin her reputation. Wow, the audacity. She didn't care about his reputation when she framed him. To be fair, Julian is hotter. I'd frame someone for him. Shut up, psychopath. Chloe was hauled away. Because my family didn't actively press for maximum sentencing, calculating that letting her go would lead to a bigger fallout later. She was released after a few days of interrogation, narrowly avoiding jail time, thanks to her parents' expensive lawyers. But she now had a police record. When she got out, she called me immediately. Caleb, it was a misunderstanding. The police cleared me. You believe me, right? Julian says the class is gathering tomorrow. I want to come with you and apologize properly. She didn't want to apologize. She wanted to see me humiliated when the exam scores dropped, hoping a new scandal would bury her arrest. The day of the gathering, Julian looked like he was walking a red carpet. Silver suit, the gold watch Chloe bought him, pointed leather shoes. Chloe, glad you made it, he smiled warmly. He evidently hadn't heard about her stint in the holding cell. Did you hear? Marcus gossiped loudly. Julian turned down study abroad to go to Stanford with Chloe. He's definitely the valedictorian this year. Chloe finally walked over to me. Caleb? Caleb. I ignored her, staring at my phone, refreshing the results page. The trauma of the last life made my hands shake. Guys, scores are up, the class president yelled. I refreshed one last time. National Aptitude Index, 998/1000. State rank, 1. I locked my screen. The chat comments were flooding my vision, too fast to read. Congratulations, apologies, shock. Seeing my shaking shoulders, Chloe assumed the worst. She smirked, then patted my back. It's okay, Caleb. There's always next year. I shrug her off. How is this okay? How is this possible? My voice drew attention. Julian rushed over, a triumphant grin on his face. Where's the villain score? Show me the 250. Julian handed me a tissue. Caleb, don't cry. Even if you bombed, you can retake. Or community college. I blew my nose and tossed the tissue. But with a score like this, how do I explain it to my parents? I predicted high, but it's okay, man, my friends gathered around. Even a lower score gets you into a decent state school. Caleb, stop stalling. What did you get? Julian reached for my phone. I unlocked it and shoved it in his face. Julian's face went white. He frantically checked the group chat to see if the teacher had posted about cheating allegations. Instead, a message from the principal popped up. Congratulations to Caleb Thorne. Highest score in the state. A near-perfect 998. Impossible. No. Julian snatched my phone, checking it again. He looked at Chloe. She looked just as stunned. Julian's hands trembled as he pulled out his own phone. He fumbled the passcode 3 times. Sweat poured down his face. Finally, the page loaded. He screamed, a high-pitched, terrifying sound. Then his knees gave out, and he collapsed. Chloe grabbed his phone. Her eyes bulged. She dropped Julian to the floor and started refreshing the page, hoping it was a glitch. Caleb Thorne, valedictorian. The class president shouted. 998. That's legendary. My phone rang. It was the principal. Caleb, you've made us all so proud. Protagonist is the GOAT. Type Caleb is the GOAT in the chat. The cheering woke Julian up. He scrambled to his feet, staring at Chloe with pure venom. Marcus looked at Julian's phone on the floor. Julian? Why is your score? 250. The room went silent. 250. The lowest possible score for simply signing your name. Julian grabbed my arm, his grip bruising. You did this. You messed with the doll. I pulled away, looking innocent. What are you talking about? Didn't you fill out your own bubbles? Did you touch the camera? He roared, spit flying. I stepped back. The doll Chloe gave me? If you have questions about the doll, ask her. Julian spun toward Chloe. She turned and ran, her heels clicking on the pavement as she fled the scene. She loves me. Julian yelled, tears streaming down his face. We were going to Stanford. How could she do this? I couldn't stand listening to his delusions anymore. I slipped away. Reporters were waiting at my house. Not for a scandal this time, but for glory. Caleb Thorne, any words on being the top scholar in the state? My parents stood beside me, beaming. I took the microphone. I want to thank my parents and my teachers, and myself for never giving up. We heard there was a student with the lowest score in history in your class. Any comment? It's regrettable for Julian Pierce, I said solemnly. I hope he faces reality. Though it is strange. I heard his essay was identical to mine, word for word. But his multiple choice answers were all random patterns. The reporters perked up. I continued, looking thoughtful. My girlfriend, Chloe Banks, helped me study. Though we broke up after she was arrested for framing my father and putting spy cameras in my room. The press went into a feeding frenzy. Within hours, the internet sleuths had dug up everything. Chloe's arrest record, the loan she took for the gold watch, the connection to Julian. Stanford University issued a statement rejecting Chloe's application due to ethical concerns. Julian was exposed as a cheater who tried to copy answers via spy camera but was fed a dummy video. The pressure broke them. Julian cornered Chloe on the roof of the school building. Why, he screamed. I copied exactly what I saw in the glasses. Why did I get a 250? I don't know. Chloe sobbed. You ruined me. In a fit of rage, he pushed her. The news cycle shifted from top scholar to cheating scandal murder. I heard later that Chloe's parents hunted Julian down, and the confrontation ended in tragedy for him too. The families destroyed each other in court and in the streets. But that had nothing to do with me. I walked across the campus of Harvard University, surrounded by new friends, breathing the fresh air of a life that was finally, truly mine.